Welcome back to another episode of After Hours Ag Podcast. I've got a guest with me, Nick Welker from Welker Farms. He's joining us here in his home base office here, right?
Yep. Our office is outside of our shop, so a lot of stuff's happening in and out of here, but a lot more than we intended for this room to be. Yeah, it's a lot of coffee drinking.
Yes.
And chip eating.
And having guests stop in to visit you.
Occasionally that too, yeah.
We were just in the tractor with his brother Scott. Make sure you check out that episode as well, where you get to hear about what he's thinking about, what's on his mind, and how the whole YouTuber, farm tuber thing has affected him and what he's done with it. And we're definitely going to dive into that a little bit with you, or maybe a lot, we'll see.
Yeah.
But first of all, to kick things off, Nick, what is a background about you and your experience in your family?
So I'm my older brother to Scott, or as many know, Leg Arms. Grew up together on the farm, went off to college. I had intent to farm when I was younger, and then it kind of went away. Was planning on going into aviation, was going to be a pilot, Air Force, and then corporate and commercial, and kind of went through air traffic control, and then in the process of waiting for a gig in air traffic control, came back to the farm, and our farm grew during that time. A bunch of acres were added, and so I kind of just kept farming. And then I just said, you know what, maybe a career in aviation isn't for me. Maybe I need to be farming. So that's where that really took off. And then from then on, I just worked with my dad and my brother throughout, and the farm has continued to grow, and things have happened, married, kids, all sorts of things. And then of course, eventually YouTube hit the mix. And so, yeah, it's been quite an adventure so far. I'm pretty thrilled with it.
Yes. Tell us about the time when you were maybe at that decision-making point of, do I go back to farming? Do I just duck out of it altogether and go do something else with my life?
Well, when I was, before I went off to college, basically my parents told me, you're not doing much. You need to go find something to do, because clearly your heart isn't in this, and you're being kind of a bum. So so in the process, I had a cousin that was going into aviation, and I knew him real well, and we got along real well. And well, you should look at this too, Nick. And in the process, I was like, this is pretty cool, and did my discovery flight and everything. And so that's how that happened. And then when I came back to the farm, it was, I think, living in Denver for 4 years. I got to experience life off the farm, and I realized living with a neighbor 20 feet from you or 50 feet from you, and having the police calling you for using airsoft guns and pop cans in your backyard and all kinds of things.
This was here?
No, this was in Denver. Yeah. My neighbor, yeah. That I realized there's a lot of freedoms that you have that, you just take for granted. And so, there's just a lot of things. I'd come back to Montana and spend some time up here between semesters or wherever it was, summer break. And I was just this is just so nice. So when I got back and was farming and things were picking up, I think I just really felt like the Lord was telling me, you need to stay here. And the career path that I wanted, or I thought I wanted, as it turned out, I'm glad I didn't go down that route. So
good. Now, you didn't come back alone, I understand. You maybe brought someone else back with you.
No. I came back alone.
Okay.
Yeah. I came back alone, and that was 2009, 10, and then so that'd have been 4 years later. So 2014 is when I got married.
Okay.
But I met her after I got back. So
okay. I thought maybe you found her and came back.
No. She's a Detroit girl, so didn't go to Denver for her.
Okay.
Still D though, so D City. Yeah.
Speaking of family, you got kids?
I have 4 kids. Yep. Mm-hmm. Oldest just turned 7. Youngest is going to be 2 this fall.
So that's would that be the 6th generation?
Yeah, two and a half. Two. Yeah, I'm way off. Sorry.
Okay.
The fifth generation.
5th generation.
Yep.
With your kids.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 5th generation. Yep. So I'm 4th. They're 5th.
Very good. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Yeah, because we see a lot out there, or we see a lot of situations out there where people are deciding to leave the farm, not stay farming. Maybe it's for reasons like there's not enough land, and there's another brother that's taking it over or something like that. But sometimes they just don't want to deal with the hassle or the challenges. They want a 9-to-5, 8-to-5 job and their time, right? When they're not at work.
I was just talking to a friend about this the other day. There's still times I look at that and go, man, I just wish I had a job like that. I had a retirement. I had guaranteed days off.
Whenever you wanted, probably.
You actually had weekends off, a job that you could leave work and not think about work and be gone from work. You don't live at your work. You're just literally, it's disconnected from your mind. You can focus on your family, benefits, healthcare, all this stuff. There's a lot of times I'm like, that would be so nice. I mean, farming's not for the lighthearted. It's not. It's a difficult career.
Yeah. Extremely difficult.
And I feel like a lot of people that aren't involved in ag, not everybody, a lot appreciate it, but they just don't understand. They have no clue the level of stress and decision making and pressure that's put on you. And the suicide rate's huge in ag. It's really sad, but there's a lot of guys that just can't take it. A lot of pressure of trying to continue their legacy, their grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather passed on to them, and they're the ones that are going to lose it. Even though it's maybe not their fault, the economy or the factors in their environment when they're farming, other players in the area, who knows what it may be. Government regulations, a lot of times that can be the final say. So it's tough. And now, as especially a dad, that's the new main pressure now. I'm out there sometimes dark to dark, and I think to myself, yeah, I might get to see my kids at lunch real quick, grab a bite to eat, but I'm gone before they wake up, and I come back after they go to bed, and I'm like, I am missing my kids, years of my kids. You go to church on Sunday and go back to work after that, or weekends. You should be able to go off and go spend some time. So those kind of realities are hitting more home now. And okay, you can pick your own hours in this job, but if you want to be successful, if you want to continue, you've got to get the job done. And certain jobs you just have to get done. So
especially when you are dealing with back-to-back years of drought, hail, things like that, and even when commodity prices were strong those years, you guys didn't have a crop to turn in to get that.
In my lifetime, we have never matched both of them up where we had good yields and good prices. It's always, which is there has been all years we've had great prices and terrible yields. Well, that's good. I mean, at least we're still we're not like terrible price and terrible yields. I mean, not often have we hit both bottom. It's usually been one or the other. We've had great yields and low prices, or low prices and or high prices and low yields. That's typically what it's been, which is honestly it evens you out, but it's that get ahead, like, oh, we could just nail it, you know. 1 year it'd just be like at those prices, and they were when wheat was $10-12, I'm like, if we could just have an average year, I mean, it's massive what it could do for us in land payments and getting equipment payments and our own financial helping us out. And so, it's but it's who knows what next year's going to bring. Who knows what this year is? I really don't know.
It's like you're hanging on, or you're sowing seeds to see what kind of harvest you could get, right? It could be big. It could overflow the bins. It could be another problem year, but it's certainly that opportunity. It's a risk, but it's also a possible reward.
Yeah, and that's exactly what farming is. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, there's certainly all those challenges and long hours and things. What are the positives you see with being in farming and even with your operation?
I mean, it's there's quite a list. I mean, one, the beauty of it, the land, the sunrises, the sunsets, the animals, the smells, the quietness sometimes, or the busyness, the family, working with your family, your dad, your brother, your mom sometimes, your wife, your kids, hopefully eventually someday. The mine are still kind of on the edge of being too little to do much, but they're right there. There's a lot of that. And then seeing the benefits or the rewards of your labor, whether it's working on a piece of equipment all winter and then using it that year and seeing like, we rebuilt the engine in that thing. Now it's running in the field, it's getting the job done. There's just so many little things, or being able to express yourself, fabricating stuff, designing, fixing things on your own, accomplishment, a lot of sense of not pride, but just sense of accomplishment, knowing that, wow, that was me that fixed that. That's the reason this is happening, is because I did this. So it's not like you see a lot of your effort put in. That's, huge in it too. Legacy, there's a lot of that, knowing that my grandfather, great-grandfather, my dad, we're doing this, we're driving some of the same tractors my grandfather ran. And there's just a lot of that just kind of pride. I don't want to say pride. I'm
Good
trying to think of
pride.
the word. Yeah,
It's a good pride. You're proud of
of what we're doing, and then like making food for the world too. There's a whole sense of that we're feeding people, and we're taking care of our land, and we're running a business, and we're trying to grow. It's a really unique industry. There's a lot of factors that go into it, but it definitely has its rewarding factors. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here doing this. Absolutely would not.
Eventually, you'd get figure it out and go, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
You've pioneered a few things. Maybe something specifically is one of the early adopters of using YouTube to market your brand, Welker Farms. Mm-hmm. Tell us about that. How's that looked over time? How did it start, and then what has it morphed into today?
So it started back in 2009 or 10. When YouTube was still kind of in its infancy. It was still pretty early on, and I had my old roommates down in college came up with me a couple times to Montana, and they got to experience some fun life on the farm, and they're like, man, we need to record this and put some of the stuff on YouTube. This is before it was very sensitive. You could put more stuff on there and it was okay. And so we were able to do a lot of fun stuff, or shooting stuff, driving stuff, destroying stuff. We just had a lot of, and so they were the ones that were kind of like recording some of that. And I had just bought the very first GoPro Hero. So we recorded a little bit of that. And I think my one buddy's just like, here, give me that footage. I'll edit it real quick. And he edited it. I made a Welker Farms page just for the fun of it. And then, I don't even know if we named it that. It might have been something else. I might have changed the name. I think I named it that. And he threw those 2 videos on it. And it was just, I think it was us destroying a chicken house and then wakeboarding on a reservoir. I mean, it was just like, not much to it. And I had no intent for that to do much. I didn't really put much effort into it. And a couple of years went by, 2 or 3 years of that, just the only thing that was on there. And then as we got towards the 100-year centennial for our farm in 2012, I thought, it would be something else to put together a video celebrating our 100-year centennial accomplishment of our farm. And so I did 2 videos. I did one, went back on all the photos of historical photos of our family, and put that to some pretty emotional music all the way up until the latest of my brother and I, farming together. And then I did another video of actual GoPro stuck to everything I could possibly find, everything I could think of. And that video, 100 Years of Montana Farming is what that one's called. And 100 Years of Montana Farming Tribute was the other one. And those 2, and then when I did those, with really no intent of them, I wanted to get a 1 million view video. That was always kind of just in the back of my mind, like, oh, it'd be so fun to have a viral video. Just no worry about money or anything. It's just, I just want a video to get 1 million views. That'd be sweet. And they did take off. On Facebook, they was spread across all these groups, and that really is where we got our foot in the door and got the name out there with those videos. And then didn't really put much out. We did a restoration on our Big Bud. That was a big one. And Big Buds were just starting to really kind of all of a sudden hit this new spotlight of legendary old tractors. And so the repower of that video did very well, time lapse beginning to end. And that took off, and that might have been my first 1 million view video, was either that one or the other. And so when that happened, then that really got it name out there. And then in 2016, I bought a drone and got the first real drone of our farm year, and did 3 seasons of that. And that one did very well. And then Farming Simulator was really starting to take off, and a lot of younger audience. And they group put our map, helped make a map into our farm into a map, downloadable map for the game, and that brought in a huge audience of those guys. And so the name just really took off then, and then it just morphed into, okay, well, 1 or 2 videos a year. All of a sudden, like, I've seen people doing blogging, and I'm spending 100 hours to make 1 video, and they're spending 2 hours out there with filming themselves from the day with raw, hardly any cuts, edits, or anything, and they put it up there, and they're getting a bunch of views on it. And I'm like, well, okay, I see where this is going. So then instead of pointing the camera at tractors, we turned the camera and started having it ourselves in front. And that's where the real change happened. And then it was video a month, okay, a couple videos a month, then video a week, and 1 to 2 videos a week. And so that's kind of where we turned into.
Where do you see it going in the future?
I don't know. I don't know. I keep thinking to myself, we got 5 years, and that was like 5 years ago. It's going to die off. You're just not going to get, people are going to stop watching. There's a lot of newer channels out there that are more exciting. Things are happening, fresh faces. TV shows come and go. I mean, unless it's like The Simpsons or something. I mean, they come and go. It's just the reality of it. Like, you're just not. And so I just at some point figured it would die off, but it just kind of keeps going. We had some big partnerships with Case IH and some other brands that have really gotten us out there to these shows and things. And it just seems like every time we go to these shows, we have the same amount of people that are coming to see us, the same intensity. And the views and the videos seem to stay really consistent and continue to be worth it. And in a day and age when farming has been really difficult, 4.5, 5 years of drought, and out of that 3 years of severe hail, just been decimating morally and financially for the farm. And to have this alternate source of revenue that has not only sustained us, but has gotten us ahead in our own personal lives, has got us into new houses. We got our trailer houses, now we're moving into houses. We're able to be financially comfortable in a situation where normally we would be, I don't know, working multiple jobs off the farm, which YouTube is its own job. It's a very intensive job.
Yeah. Speaking of, how many hours do you think that is a week?
Well,
maybe back when you were doing your own editing and things like that, it was a lot more.
Yeah, it was 40, 50 hours a week on top of farming. Because I'd edit for 10 hours a week, or more. And that can only be done when I'm at home after working on the farm. So you have to do it at night. So you'd be up till wee hours of the night and then finish it, put the video out the next day. And I realized quickly that wasn't going to work.
How many years did you do that?
I only did it for about a year.
A year.
And then I realized I had to bring on editors because there's just no way I can sustain it.
And now it's not like you just bring on an editor and it's pure revenue. There's a cost to having an editor, right?
Oh yeah.
Because if no one's going to do it for free,
no,
at least not for very long.
You're paying someone's salary, so yeah, you have to. I got to that point where I said, okay, we're making this much money. It's nice, and we're making this much money. If I bring an editor, okay, now it's a wash because it's going to cost to pay this guy as much as we're making. But if we can get that much more content out, maybe we'll make more. And that's what happened. We were able to get a lot more content out, which made more revenue, which made up the difference in what we were paying, and that made it. That's where it really made it work out. So, but yeah, the time. But if you factor in the time throughout the day, we are working. I am driving that tractor. I would be driving that tractor anyways. This time I've got a camera on. So technically, I don't know if you can really. Those hours are kind of mixed, like farming hours and YouTube hours. There's still hours in both, but there's a lot of in between stuff. Stopping and getting the drone, driving up the field, charging cameras, this and that, trying to download the footage on your computer, upload the footage, previewing your videos before they go out, watching them, making thumbnails, making titles, adding descriptions, working with sponsors, integrated ads, make sure their content, working with emails, the amount of emails we have. It's like 50 emails a day, and you got to go through the emails and reply and back and forth and contracts and working with lawyers and then you got to make your website and you got to make your logo, and then you got merch and you got to put merch in the mix and you got to have somebody who can make your merch and send the merch out, and it's just this. And then you got to make another post office box because you got a lot of fan mail that's coming and figure this out. And so it's just this snowball effect of it just keeps getting big. And so finally we got to a point where I feel like we got a grasp of it, and now we're just maintaining, And there's the hardest part, I think, is you could do so much more, but it just takes that much more of you to do it.
Yeah. Which you're already at your wit's end at times, at the end of your thread.
As a dad, I've got 4 kids, and yeah, I could put a lot more effort in this channel and probably make content that I can't guarantee, but I think would do very well. And it would be great financially. It'd be great with growth on the channel and the farm. But at some point I have to draw a line and say, no, this is, I've only got so much time with my kids. My kids were so long. I can't, you got to draw a line. You just got to. And so, and I don't know if a lot of people I don't think understand that. They don't realize, why is it taking so long for the next video, or why haven't you done this yet, or whatever. I mean, that's the thing about farming and YouTube is it's, okay, we work hard on the farm. As soon as the farm ends, it's working on YouTube. And the other thing is, okay, we're done with our season. Oh, we're just finished seeding today, literally. We're pretty much done today. I should be like, all right, let's go on. Let's not do anything for 2 weeks. Like, no, you know what's going to happen? I got to make content for 2 weeks because I got to get those videos out. So
you can't just take a break from the content, or what happens?
I could, but every time you do that, you see a big dip, and it takes a while to climb back up. It's like you're riding a wave, and then you fall off the wave, and it takes a while to get back. So it's like you want to maintain that. 2, you might have obligations with sponsors, which is my own doing. 3, we have an editor we're paying, so I want to make sure he's got business to keep doing. If he doesn't have videos to edit, he needs to make money. So
he might go somewhere else, huh?
Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure to keep pumping videos, keep making those Instagram posts, keep making stories, try to be funny, try to be creative, try to be original. It's so there's that animal that's always there. So it's a huge blessing, but it's a lot of work.
After you just said all that, I was like, wow, that is work. There's probably some fun elements of it, right? And you enjoy we've talked about the kids get super excited to meet you, and I know I've been excited to be a part of you, and my 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old son, he just loves watching the channel and connecting with you guys. But I'm really glad you shared that, because as you're rolling through all those things, that's a full-time job. In fact, it's a full-time plus job. And another thing you touched on was revenue generation, and something that is out there is you can say, okay, we got to cut costs. That's how we're going to save money. Mm-hmm. What about growing revenue instead of cutting costs? Because sometimes we get into trouble either as business owners. You're a business owner as running a farm too. Mm. You can either cut costs and try to hold on to what you got, mm-hmm. or you can try to grow revenue, and maybe the costs don't get cut. You try to be smart with costs. Yeah. But what do you see as something you can grow revenue with, and not necessarily just so focused on cutting costs?
So on the farm, that's hard because we're not in very consistent land where we're at. So we're not guaranteed rain. So we can let's grow our revenue. So that means more fertilizer. Let's do more expensive crops. Let's do this. Let's take more land out of fallow and farm it. And then it droughts. And we just shot ourselves in the foot, which I've done a couple years back, even further in the hole, because now we've put a lot more expense in and there's no guarantee we're getting it back. So you would have to do something outside of the farm. You'd have to do a secondary business of some type, something that's not associated with the farm. The problem is we don't have time to do that. We're so focused. Oh yeah, we could work on other people's equipment or something like that, or custom farming. We barely get our own done. So you can't do that. So with the farm, you really can only cut costs in our industry right now where we're at. I mean, there's some areas, maybe in some of the row crop areas, they can do stuff that bumps their yield 20 bushel an acre. That might be what we make that year is 20 bushels an acre. And they literally just bump their crop 20 bushels by changing their prescription a little bit and their farming plan. I mean, literally it can 20 bushel like that, Yeah. And to us, that's like our entire crop. I mean, like we'll get the guys coming to us, use this new product, it's $5 an acre, but this will help the root structure and your plant and your drought resistance and all this stuff and health. And sure, and usually the pictures, the roots are way thicker and longer and all this stuff. And it adds a bushel an acre to our crop, and it costs $4 an acre, and a bushel of wheat is $5. So we gained $1 an acre maybe on that. Like, is it really? It's not worth it, or it's just so. So that's the hard part is you just have to, where we're at in our land where we farm, you have to be very careful with your expenses, and that's doing your own work, running old equipment, and not putting the inputs in that you don't have to. You can spend the limit, but when it comes to YouTube, absolutely. I mean, there's not necessarily a lot of cost to YouTube. I have an editor, so your cost is time. It's time. Like cameras, okay, they cost so much. Drones cost so much. It's not an excessive expense, but it's all time. Do I want to make that trip to go to that person to do a collaboration with them because I know it'll help my channel, it'll help their channel, and it'll be a fun experience for our viewers. They'd love to see us together. Okay, it's a 4-day endeavor. I got to drive all the way out there, get a hotel, see them, whatever. And it's is that worth me being gone from the family for 4 days?
After you're just away from the family for how long?
Yeah, for a number of days. And then farm shows, we've been doing a number of them a year with K-Sites have been sending us out to them, which has been amazing. But it's a week, basically every farm show where we do 4 of them a year. So that's a month out of the year we're gone from the farm and the family. Yeah, and one of them happens in the middle of harvest. Well, you row crop guys.
Don't they
pick it?
Don't they take your combine too?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, we've literally had equipment leave in the middle of which we chose to do. There was benefits involved. It's not like they just took it, but we've had the sprayer go, the combines go, the big bud go. Yeah, all the way across country and back on a trailer. It's been fun. Tighten tires, taking a couple more pieces, put on their lot. It's fun to see, but like, don't roll the truck, please.
Little nerve-wracking, I'm sure.
Come back in one piece.
I know it's been great, though, to see it there. It's like, when is a good time to go or to have your equipment gone? Yeah. Unfortunately, it doesn't always line up to be perfect timing, but it sure is great to get that out there and get people to actually touch the equipment, see what these iconic pieces of equipment on your channels, get them in person.
I think people
on site.
I think a lot of people have really enjoyed that, being able to see that in person and see something that's off the camera and being able to meet people too at these shows is huge. It's an eye opener every time. You forget about it, and then when you get to real life and you see real faces and real people and signatures, autographs, pictures. I mean, I'm not bragging by any means, trying to say, but the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of pictures and autographs that we've done to people. And you think to yourself, why? why do you want that with us? But we've struck a nerve with some people, and so I hope to try to live up to what they feel we are. So,
well, out of all the, call it, people they could follow, people that they could idolize or be interested in, it's so nice to know that there's people in the farming community who are typically faith-based, good traditional values that built this country, and that there's another option out there for them. Mm-hmm. Not that we want them to idolize any of us, or any of you guys, but I know that that's not your desire. But it's really neat that they've got a different role model to choose from than some of the other options out there.
Absolutely. I absolutely hope that we can establish a role model of someone who's faith-oriented, God-fearing, patriotic, responsible, hardworking, loving, a lot of good characteristics that our culture really needs right now. So not that we're putting ourselves, because we have our own faults, and it definitely sometimes comes and goes, but I know what it's like to look up to somebody in something. And so, I can only imagine there's some younger ones, especially, that look up to us. And so I don't take that lightly.
What's a message you have for those young ones or anyone who's looking up to you?
Well, just for one, don't underestimate yourself or think that something will never happen, because I can be one to definitely say things definitely happen that totally blindside you, that you would never think you're capable of, or that would ever be an opportunity. And so don't ever underestimate yourself. Always just work hard, and don't be afraid to step out of your box a little bit. You never know. It might be something that you feel like, this just isn't me. As long as it's not like a bad feel, like, okay, this is going to be like bad for my character, bad for what I'm doing, bad for someone else, like that's bad. But like, if it's something that you're just nervous to do just because of the sake of, you just don't know, it's an unknown factor, like sometimes you just need to take that step and do it. So that's what I would say. And listen to others, and be kind to everybody, and try to establish relationships with a lot of people, because networking is big too. Networking is huge. Learn from others too. Watch what I'm doing, and imitate it. I mean, if it's working for me, it might work for you.
Maybe the learning curve's a lot smaller, shorter, if you can learn from others and see what they've done. And it's hard to get past the school of hard knocks, as they say.
Yeah,
you still got to learn the hard way.
There's sweat equity, sweat labor. You got there's going to be some trial and error, and you're going to have to put the effort in. But you're not always guaranteed success. But you'll never get to there. I mean. Yeah, the ship isn't going to sail unless the sail's put up first. So
that's true.
Yeah, you gotta at least take a step.
What's been some of the things that have tested you the most in your time on the farm? Some of the biggest trials you've had, maybe some of the tests with your family, with your faith.
Probably dealing with drought and hail. Literally, we just finished. I've been pulling 15, 18-hour days the last 3 weeks. Getting up at dark and going to bed at dark, and working extremely hard during that, and see the amount of decision making we had to make, and spraying and fighting elements and weather and equipment breakdowns, electrical issues, and trying to keep up with the guys, and meanwhile trying to maintain a family and all this stuff. To see all that effort and energy put into a crop, and then just to either watch it get hailed out in a day, or drought it out and just watch it slowly die. That's tough. That's tough. It's taxing mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all of it. I mean, so that would probably be ranked up there, one of the toughest things to do. The other would be, at this point in my life, I would say time away from family and kids, having to make decisions. The kids are like, Dad, are we going to do something today? Like, can we please do this? Buddy, I can't. I'm sorry. Today's a beautiful day. My daughter had her birthday the other day. It was the only day out of 10 days the wind didn't blow. Beautiful day. Sun shining, perfect temperature, 5-mile-an-hour wind, 65 degrees, absolute gorgeous spraying weather. And that was her birthday.
Right. And most people listening be like, so what? Just have a birthday. What does that mean for farming?
She's only got so many birthdays, but like, I got to get that sprayed. So, I get up in the morning, I spray early, and I stop halfway in the day, and I spend time with her for a number of hours. And then I go back out that night and spray, and try to take as much advantage of that little weather I can. But it's stressful, because you're just kicking yourself in the spare. Like, I should not be in this hunk of metal right now. I should be there with my daughter.
Then you maybe start to hate it even.
Oh, yeah,
You
there's-
hate, like the situation that you're in.
There's a lot of times that I start getting, and then it affects everything. I don't want to turn my camera on to record. I'm not in a good mood. I'm stressed out. Like, there's just a lot of factors that play into that. And a lot of careers, this isn't just, a lot of careers deal with this. But that's probably the next thing I would say is the time factor. Not being able to do stuff with your friends anymore, not going on vacation, not doing stuff for yourself. It's just a grind. And why would you be doing the grind? Well, it's to be successful, to try to financially get on top, to try to establish.
You'll get there someday, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
You're kind of thinking, right, I'm going to build this thing up and get there.
And I'm seeing it now. We got houses built. That was a goal of mine. It was like, it's just got to get us to build a house. That's all it's got to do is we can get a house built. We built a lot of the house ourselves, but financially it was able to get us there. And today is a terrible time to build a house. But it made it happen. So I can check that off. Like that amount of work that was put in got us to into a new home that we can hopefully enjoy for the rest of our lives. And so there's a lot of benefits that you get. But it's just the time thing is probably the next big one. So senior crop die and time. I haven't had any major loss of family close to me or anything like that. I'm sure that would peak the top of the list immediately if we had an event happen on the farm, someone got hurt or whatever, obviously. But since none of that's happened, it's been just disasters in farming and the time.
Do you find it's easy to blame God when those natural disasters happen?
You'll always have immediately in the back of your mind go, God, what are you doing and why are you doing this? Like, why is it that my neighbor 3 miles from me just got 1.25 inches of rain and I literally watched the storm lift up, break apart, and then on the other side of our farm dumps 2 inches? It happened this last summer. I'm literally watching it. This wall of water coming. The radar is red. Wind is blowing right to us. We're getting it. This is the rain. This is a $200,000 rain right here. $200,000. It would have gave us $200,000 worth of crop. And it just stopped. Went over. It started again. Within a 5 mile. I mean, our farm is very central. We're not spread all out. We're fairly mass. And it just 2 or 3 times has happened. And so, you're going to go, God, because who else has got control of the weather? Maybe some believe we do. I don't know, cloud seeding or whatever. But yeah. So there's a tendency to want to have frustration towards God in that. But I just always try to bring myself back and remind myself that the only reason my heart is beating at that moment is because of God. The only reason I have a beautiful wife and who's amazing is because of God. The only reason I have kids is because of God. The only reason I live in this beautiful state of Montana and I'm out here farming is because of God. So the only reason I'm not in a prison cell rotting away, or my kids got abducted or taken south of the border, or whatever, the list goes so much worse than that. And when you think that way, you're like, okay.
And eternity.
Yeah, eternity. Yeah,
right.
Eternity.
You could be in a prison, but what about eternity when it could be an eternal prison?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Am I really going to shake my fist at God, the very one who hopefully someday, will say, "Well done, good and faithful servant," and will be in paradise with? So it's easy to do that. And I think, even in the Bible, a number of characters did that. But I should say characters in the Bible. But it's just, I guess you just have to turn around and thank God for the blessings you have. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to be clouded by the despair. And sometimes it's easier than not. Sometimes it happens. You're like, all right, well, let's move on. Other times it hits you hard. So, but we all handle it differently. I don't know. That's probably, but it's, I not say I never have, but I try to really remind myself, Nick, this is, God sees things that I do not. My little view on timeline is so little. He sees everything in one shot. I see this little blip over this huge thing, and I'm so minuscule in the grand scheme. So.
Do you find these tough times grow you closer to Him, or do something different to draw you farther away?
I think they definitely would grow you closer, because why would you need to go to God if everything's great? You get cushy, and when you get cushy, you don't rely on God as much. If you're suffering or if you're in need, then you go to God. So God, throughout time, I think God's used that multiple times. That takes a little bit of hurt to make you go, oh, hey, that's right. Hi, God, you're still there.
Yeah.
I think probably closer, but it could definitely, if you don't handle it right, could make you bitter and resentful and allow a lot of dark, sinful characteristics to come out and take hold of you and can take you the other way. So
true, very true. we get into a little bit of a theology question and say, why does bad things happen to good people? Because clearly you're trying to be a good person, right?
Yeah. And I've had a lot of people comments that, why do Welkers get all this trouble? They're good people. Out of anybody, they should be having the reign. And maybe God's using bad things for us to show people how we react in those bad situations. Maybe it's one person that God's trying to affect by our entire farm and our entire family and all of our kids and all these people that are dependent upon this farm, this operation, will go through some suffering just so that one person who may be on the edge of ending their life might go, you know what? Welkers are able to handle that situation. Maybe I can tough mine a little more. I don't know. It could be one thing like that. Or it could be nothing. It could be 100% character building on ourselves. It could be building us up to a point in character that we're raising our kids so that someday they'll be a pillar in faith and a pillar towards truth and righteousness. You never know. I really don't know.
In our communities.
There's a
We
lot
need a lot of those solid foundations.
Yeah. A lot of the strong generations were usually built by the generations that suffered before them. So because they put the effort in. So yeah, I don't know why God allows good things to happen to bad people and bad things to happen to good people, but I think our perspective of what's good and what's bad sometimes is skewed too, because we think, okay, being rich and having a lot of land and nice new equipment is a good thing. Well, it can be, but it might not be too, because
might not be His will.
Yeah,
that's maybe not His end game.
Maybe that's not good for your character. Maybe you need to have something you got to fix oil leaks in all the time and turn wrenches on because you'll get too, I guess, too prideful in it, and that I created all this, I built all this, humility is an important thing. And so
I've heard it said that that argument is actually flawed because who is good? To find good people, we may be good as an average compared to other people in the world, or hey, we're contributing to society. We do more good things than bad things, but in God's eyes, who's good?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Really, we all sin. We all have issues, and the only way that we're good is if He redeems us, right, and makes us perfect before Him through Jesus. So,
100%.
Yeah, that's a really good perspective, and it's really great to hear your story, hear how you deal with these challenges. Because I can't imagine in pouring your life into several years of an operation, taking risks. You're putting hundreds of thousands of dollars on the line. I'm sure it even grows beyond that as a whole. And then it feels like rolling the dice on, well, maybe it'll work out this year. Or maybe I could even move closer to catastrophic loss. And so I think that's a story that we want to get out there and share and show what farmers are facing. And it's kind of like a casino, but you're not even having fun. You're supposed to have an enjoyable time burning some money, but But there's a lot of benefits too to farming, and we want to share that story, that side of things too. And I can tell as you share about missing time with your family, you get a little choked up. I can sense it in your voice, and I got a little bit of that with running the business, a different category, but
you're a business owner. You know what it's like. You get, and I mean we're supposed to work. We got to provide for family. It's not like we can't just spend time with our family 24/7. I mean, food's got to be put on the table, but there is a point where, and I know I have some close friends who have resentment towards their dad because he never left the farm ever and never went on any vacations. Never hardly went to, I shouldn't say never, but rarely ever did anything other than fight. If you spent time with your dad, it was because you were farming with him. And that's it. And it's hurt them, and they're all adults now, and it still has, so it's something that I think you don't take lightly. And so
how many of our little kids would say, Dad, I want you to make a little more money so I can have that toy?
Yeah.
Or would they say, Dad, I just want you to hang out with me?
Those videos.
Why do you got to go again?
Videos people make about like Jordan Peterson, he had one about how, of course the way he speaks is very profound, and the way you elaborate on how your kid, there's only one person in this world that wants to be your absolute best friend, who could care less anything about you, just wants to be, and that's your kid. They'd give up anything to be closer to you, to be more of a buddy, more of a friend, anything. They would do it in a heartbeat. You know they would. And then we're not acting on that, or like you see the videos, the parents on the phone and the kids are in the background, like sitting there, or there was another recently I had heard, and it just hits you deep. You're just like,
and because we're kind of doing that at a different level, right? Or in a different way too many times. And it's that time in the sprayer where you're like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? And I've had those times where but I think it's a good message to all of us to take the moments we have, the best that you can, right?
Yep.
At times you got to do your job, but whenever we can, put down the phone, stop that hobby, don't take another job that maybe could grow some more revenue. Mm-hmm. It's really hard. Like a lot of people say, your time with your kids grow up like that. Mm-hmm. And I hear it and I'm like, okay, I got a few more years. They're still young. I got a few more years. We're not there yet. I still got time. I got time. Yeah. And now my son is actually sleeping on the couch behind us because he's wondering what we're going to do next. Yeah. He's already almost 8, and he was just 2 when I thought that.
10 years he's leaving the house. I mean, and he's almost 10. It is. And should have a lot more life ahead of you that you can hopefully do those things.
Yeah. Not guaranteed, but take the moments we got.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of where we're at. So
yeah. Well, you've had a great go here with and you're really exposing yourself. You're putting yourself out there, your family, right? You're bringing exposure to them, your kids, and all that stuff. And I think it's really you've benefited from it financially, but not always. And it's a benefit to us to get to see your life and be encouraged by that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, people learn a thing or two, or inspired, or find another reason to absolutely hate my guts.
There's always going to be.
I hate that guy. Where's my dartboard of Nick? Darts at him.
You need something better to do if that's all you're going to do, right?
Well, it's okay. You can do it. I won't worry.
What time is it? Oh yeah, it's sick. Okay. Well, it's been a real treat.
Yeah,
getting to see you again.
Yeah,
appreciate the time.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Yep, definitely. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Yep. Don't be a stranger if you're ever in Fargo.
I need a reason to go to Fargo. Maybe we can go pick up a tractor. We can find something.
Case Tractor Plant.
Yeah. I can get a 715. We can bring that up.
Yeah. There we go. Case.
Or some planter
Let's work
parts.
on that.
I know a guy that has some good parts.
We do have some parts. We have some parts, and some of them are on your cedar.
They are.
Have they been working good?
Yeah. No, haven't had much trouble at all with that. That stuff's been great, as long as we don't bend anything accidentally by not unhooking something all the way and dropping a manifold. But other than that, we're great.
That would be operator error.
Yeah, that's an operator error. Yeah.
There's always that.
Well, I mean, you'd think the engineers would engineer it heavy enough for the operator error, so that would never happen. But
true.
No.
Then your tires would deflate.
Yeah.
Blow.
That's a good point. Yeah. It'd cost 10 times more.
What's been your experience with Ready? How has it gone? And why did you choose to do business with Ready? And would you do business again with Ready?
Well, it's been great. Our air carts were pretty thrashed with the powder coat that was rusted off, and there was a lot of leaks and a lot of nasty rust in them, and they were at a point where we had to do something to them. And so, not knowing where to start, you guys had the parts and the know-how on how to strip them down and bulletproof them from the back up with some Ramafa gear. So that was huge. And as a team goes, you guys are real pleasant to work with. The guys that you have are good character, upstanding. I know you guys morally are sound. So it's nice knowing that you're with trustworthy people that aren't going to try to scam you out of your dollar, that are trying to make your product, your machine better with your products. But at the end of the day, also running a business too. So no, it's been great. Yeah, and absolutely. When we run into any kind of situation that is a service that you guys offer that we need done, we would definitely. I just wish we lived a little closer. But other than that, yeah.
Little does he know that it was the first time I'd ever worked on his style of cart.
That's why you guys kept scratching your heads. What do we do here?
I had a bump cap on, so it protected my noggin.
That's right, the bump caps.
Yes, those were good. Yeah. No, if it was my first time, it wasn't the first time of our team. Adam had done a few, and in fact, we were developing some parts. I think even after we left, because you had a different style gear.
That's right.
With the baffles,
you had to modify some things.
Yeah, and we hadn't seen that before.
Yeah,
and you know what? Adapt would overcome.
Yeah,
we had a challenge. It's like, I think That's possibly a difference between us and some other companies where, because of our engineering background, well, we're like, well, we're not going to just leave you with this, these parts that don't work in the baffling. Like, well, you're on your own. Figure that out yourself. We got the rest of it. We went back to the shop and got our engineers involved again, and we whipped out some designs. And I think we sent them to you, or did we bring them with that time?
Yeah, I think you had them overnighted. They were like that week of. They were like brought over or something. And
don't put anything in any people's minds that we're going to overnight stuff to them. Right off the engineering.
Right. Yeah, that's true. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we did. We got back and we cranked them out and got them back fast.
No, but it's been good. I mean, obviously there's a lot of places you can go, but I mean, you guys got a pretty upstanding business, and it's nice seeing the growth that you've had, and there's a reason for the growth is because people are seeing the benefits of what you guys, the services you guys offer, and so no way. I think for sure in the future, definitely, if we came to a situation, we would definitely call you guys up. So
at least to complain.
Yeah, I just want Jesse to come, not you though. So.
Oh yeah, who's Jesse?
Yeah,
he's my twin. In case you didn't know that, there's two of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or Adam. Adam's cool.
Or Adam. Adam's pretty cool.
Yeah, Adam's pretty cool.
Yep. Hope he's not listening.
He doesn't listen to this stuff.
No. Well, thanks so much, Nick.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next time, I forgot my ready hat.
Yeah. Well, you got a few hats of your own.
That's right. I do.
I remembered your shirt though.
I know. Yeah.
You supporting. And did you see? I got like 16, 17 episodes of my patio bunker project. I'm always wearing Welker, Fast Ag, Millennial Farm. I'm always trying to switch them up. Sunny Farms, anyone we've ever worked with.
Don't.
It's fun.
Don't discriminate.
That's right.
That's good.
Anyway, and the apparel fits great.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love these shirts. My wife even starts to wear it. She won't wear it in public sometimes, but she'll wear our shirts. And where do we get that apparel, by the way?
Farm Focused.
Farmfocused.com.
Yeah, farmfocused.com.
And they even let us on the site.
I'm really amazed that they did that.
We're not even farmers.
I keep putting a petition to get you guys off it.
Oh, that's coming from you?
Well,
maybe a little bit.
Farmfocus.com. They have so many cool brands on there.
Yeah.
And great apparel, great quality.
Yeah.
Hats, shirts, all that stuff, hoodies.
Yeah, it's not junk by any means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good.
You do a good job.
All right. Thanks so much for listening to After Hours Ag. This episode is brought to you by yours truly, the host, Matt Fall. And we had Nick here with Welker Farms. Such a great time to come and see them. I know not everyone gets this opportunity that I've had to rub shoulders with these guys and share life. But we really like to share their story and many of your stories. If you're a farmer and you're listening to this and you would like to talk about your operation, some of the challenges and opportunities you've had, please reach out to us and let us know. If you're also listening, we'd really appreciate a 5-star review. Get those in there so we can spread the word, spread the message. We're all about promoting agriculture and sharing the story of our farmers, who we value very much. That's why we're in business, is to help farmers keep on farming here at Ready. And of course, we are doing that every day through the parts we sell and services of putting those parts on. Anyway, thanks for listening. God bless, and we'll see you next time.